AK-47 here, and I'm gonna share with you guys the best way to get your boards to the mountain. Let's start off with the Yakima Sky box. Since you guys just watched me crawl out of here, clearly you know that there's plenty of room in this thing, even though it's the Streamline model and it's only about a foot thick. I can fit 4 snowboards in here, or I can fit 2 snowboards in here, and they're fully padded cases, which is what I normally go with, since this thing does protect your boards from the elements rather well, but it doesn't have a little rubber gasket here to 100% actually keep all the foreign debris out. So I plan on running a tube of RTV around here this winter, or a gasket maker, to seal it up myself, and then when it's closed, it'll keep all that substance out. I also went to the trouble of putting a little sleeping bag in here from camping. This particular one's waterproof and mold resistant, so I don't have to worry about all the hard plastic or metal parts in the bottom from digging into any of my equipment. If I'm really being crazy, I can add another one on the top here, but I found that it just got in the way more than anything. I only added about an extra 2 miles per gallon when I clipped this to my car after driving around all winter long when I measured it. It's also really easy to install as long as you have a friend. I was extremely impressed with it as far as durability as well, since I left it on top of my car at the cabin and was cutting pine trees down. The top of the pine tree actually clipped this thing, and it didn't do any damage to it at all, even though it did chip the paint of my car. So kudos to these guys for durability. And it gets all your equipment out of the car itself. Overall, I'm gonna have to give this thing 3.5 out of 5 Jerry skiers. One last thing I forgot to point out about the Skybox is you do have to have a roof rack on your vehicle in order to mount this thing properly. However, it does have adjustable clamps, so you can put it on different style roof racks. Whoa! I don't do poltergeist. This is not an episode of Ghost Hunters. Although this next one might be the cheapest option, it comes with a terrible price of decapitation. Seriously, this thing does protect your edges and is great for drying out your board, but I would not recommend doing this if you have any friends in the car. If you're like me and you have the Skybox and you plan on bringing a whole bunch of boards to the mountain, then yeah, it works great because this actually doesn't slide around a whole lot. But if you get into an accident with this setup, you are gonna hurt yourself or one of your friends horribly. So I can't recommend doing this on a regular, but I gotta still give it 2 out of 5 Jerry skiers just because of the fact of the cheap ingenuity. It cost me less than 25 American dollars for this setup, and I can use it as a board drying rack, which is absolutely amazing when I'm hitting the park later in the day and riding this and letting my new board dry off safely in my locked vehicle. But perhaps the scariest thing of them all is this rusted edge and torn up nose. Dun, dun, dun! Although it was hard to show in the footage, this board is already dead. And all of this is because of this old school loop lock system. These things were lost in the fabric of time because they're freaking pathetic. They seriously are suggesting that you tie your gear to the back of your vehicle, or in some cases the side of your vehicle. And there is also a horrible side clamp one out there that literally soaks your equipment in road brine and salt. And because this travesty was lost in the fabric of time, we will give it a half a Jerry skier just so it can be on the board. Right above the sidecar setup is the roof rack clamp. These are better at getting your board up and out of the road salt, but that and the locking features are the only real selling points behind these. This setup offers 0 protection from the elements, as you can see, and is doomed to sit in all eternal shelf limbo. So this thing gets 2 out of 5 Jerry skiers, and I'm being gracious on this rating only because it does offer some security features. And then we have the dreaded board toss. Of course you can soften this blow with a padded case, which I would highly recommend. But unless you have plenty of space, such as an SUV or truck with a cap on it and no friends along, this method won't work. As long as you have a padded bag, I'll give this 3.5 Jerry skiers, due to its extra low price and ease of use. Happy Halloween, and I hope my shenanigans weren't too corny for you guys. There are other methods for getting your board to the mountain, such as the fat box, which overall is the same drag as the thin, so it gets the same rating, and the wakeboard rack, which I've never actually had my hands on one for snowboards. However, the wakeboard ones offer zero protection from the elements, and they don't even have locks on them. I'd imagine this one does, so it's gonna fall in the same category as the roof rack clamp. But no matter how scary traffic is on the way to the mountain, you can always board through the pain!